Okay, I'm going to show you how to make these little Indian corns. You can make them all different colors, whatever colors you choose. I use, I'll show you what I used here. For what the yarn that I used was, I used a chunky yarn. I used this Hometown Lion Brand USA, which is a chunkier weight. And then I also mixed it with just a regular 4-ply. I used Caron, and then I just scrap 4-ply actually is just what I used. So I used a chunky and one skein or one thread of chunky and one thread of regular 4-ply. That's what I use. So I use 2 strings at the same time. But if you don't have any of this chunky yarn on hand and you just want to make these because it's a real small project with different colors of scrap yarn, I would suggest using like 3 or 4 pieces of just regular 4-ply at the same time, and you'll get the same effect as I did. So I just had that chunky yarn and I just wanted to use it up. So, and then I used I'm using a big needle, a size N, which is a 9mm crochet hook. Okay, and then you're gonna need some kind of stuffing to go inside, fiber fill or something. I actually just use like I have a bunch of like yarn tails, big piles of them. I just stuff them with them, but just whatever you have to kind of make it kind of firm. Okay, once you decide the colors that you're going to use, you want to go ahead and get them put together and start with the slip knot. These are real easy. Probably won't even take very much time at all to make them. Okay, and then I'm going to start off with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to go back into the very first stitch and slip stitch, and it's going to form a ring. Like that. And then I'm going to start by chaining 1. Okay, now I'm going to be working through the center of the ring, and I'm going to go and I'm going to do 6 single crochets through the center. So go right through the center, draw up a loop, and then single crochet. And you want to do that 6 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 6. And if you're using this chunky yarn, it is a little bit more difficult, but go ahead, and if you pull your tails, you can usually close up that bottom a little bit more. Okay, now you're going to want to use some type of a stitch marker because we're going to be working in a round. So I'm just going to use the piece of yarn, and I'm going to stick it right here. Like that. Now I'm going to jump over to the first single crochet, so go ahead and count back so you know which one you're going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one. Not the chain 1, but the first single crochet that we did. And I'm going to put 1 single crochet in it. Like that. Now the next single crochet, I'm going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So there's 1, go back in the same stitch, and 2. Now the next one is just going to get 1 single crochet, and then the next stitch is going to get 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and then the next stitch is going to get 1 single crochet. And then we're back around here. You got 1 stitch left, and it's going to get 2 single crochet. Excuse me, 2 single crochets in the same stitch, just like that. kind of twist it out like that. Now we're back to our stitch marker. Now all it's going to be for the rest of the corn is just rounds of single crochet. 1 single crochet in every stitch. So I'm going to take out my stitch marker and I'm going to move it up right here. That's so I know where I end and where I begin. And now I'm just going to work my way around, putting 1 single crochet in every single stitch. So it's really super easy. Just have to keep pulling it back like that. And you can actually do this for as tall as you want, like however long you want the corns to be. If you want short ones or long ones, and you don't even have to, you know, you probably don't want to make them all exactly the same size. Just close to the same size, but because, you know, they're all different sizes in the store. So I'm just working around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get back to my stitch marker. And here's my stitch marker. Now I just want to pull it out and move it back up, and then continue around again, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get it as tall as I want. And like I said, you could do yours any size that you want. I think I did mine. See, mine are a little bit different sizes, but I did I'm gonna do like 12, 14 rows, something like that. You know, they don't have to be exactly the same size. So, well, I'm gonna keep going until I get mine the size that I want, and I'll show you how to end it and stuff it and end it. So I'll meet back up with you in just a second. Okay, once you make it back to where your stitch marker is, you can just go ahead and take it out. Now all I did was just I took some of my yarn I was using and I just stuffed it in there. But like I said, you could use yarn scraps or fiber fill, but you want to stuff it to your liking. I stuffed mine pretty tight. So I just stuffed it all the way down, shoved it all the way to the bottom. And now I'm going to close it up by doing single crochet decreases all the way around until it shuts up. So I'm just going to go in to the next stitch and draw up a loop. I'm going to leave these loops on my hook. I'm going to go to the next stitch and draw up a loop. And I'll have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and go through all 3. So that is a single crochet decrease. That took 2 stitches and it made it into 1. And I'm just going to continue to do these all the way around until my piece closes up. So I'm going to go to the next stitch and draw up a loop. And then the next one, draw up a loop. And when I got 3 loops on my hook, I'm going to yarn over and go through all 3. Like that. And then again, draw up a loop. Next stitch, draw up a loop. Gets a little tied up here at the end, but you just keep doing this around until you just can't do anymore, and then I'll just finish sewing the top together with my yarn needle. And I'll probably be able to do about 1 more. That's probably about all I'll be able to do. So go in, drop a loop, gets real tight, go to the next one, drop a loop, yarn over and go through all 3. And if you look, I still have a little bit of a hole at the top, and that's fine. I'm just going to pull all my yarn through. So you just do them decreases till you can't do no more, and pull it tight. And now I'm just going to use my my yarn needle to sew the bottom together. Sew that hole up. So I just got my needle, and I'm just going to take it and finish sewing it up like this. And while I'm sewing it up, I'm kind of hiding my tail at the same time. So So it's real easy. Get it all sewed up here. And you just do that till it feels pretty tight, and then you can clip your yarn off. And then we'll get started on the husks, I guess is what they are, the top of the corn. Goes over here one more time. Okay. Let me clip that off. Okay. Okay, now for the husks, I guess, or the tops. You can see mine. I actually used 2 strands of yarn at the same time, and you can see that they're kind of loose. And that's fine for me because I'm actually going to hook mine together and kind of tie them like that and hang them like they, you know, how you kind of buy them in the store. They're gathered at the top. But if you want yours to be stiffer, I would suggest using 4 strands of yarn at the same time, and then they won't be so wobbly. So whichever you choose, 2 strands or 4 strands, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to set this corn to the side for now. And these are real easy too. And you want to do these, I did like 5 or 6 for each corn piece. I'm going to do them separately and then sew them on separately. Start with a slip knot once you decide how many pieces you want to use. I'm going to use the same size needle too. So. And you want to make them all kind of different sizes. That's what I did. So I started off with a chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I started off with a chain. I think I chained it between 18 and 22, or 23. They were all, each one was a different number that I chained. That way they would all kind of be different sizes. But actually, if you want to make yours shorter, I mean, you can make yours shorter. You can start with a lot shorter of a chain, or you can make yours a lot longer. It's completely up to you. But I made them all different sizes. And then once I got my chain started, the number that I wanted, I went ahead and just did a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, like that. And then it was 1 half double crochet in every single stitch for the length of the chain. That's all I did. And that's how I did each one. And like I said, I think I did like 5 or 6 for each piece of corn. And of course, that's completely up to you too. You can do more or less. And when you make it to the end, you just got to pull through and tie off. And you want to do however many you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and finish mine up. Okay, on the last one that you do, you want to go ahead when you pull through, cut a little bit longer of a tail because I'm going to use that to sew on all of them. So leave one with a longer tail. And you have to hide the tails on all the other ones. So to hide the tails, you just use your yarn needle, and on the last one, only hide one of the long ones. And we'll use this one long one to sew in all the other ones with the yarn needle, or to sew all the other ones on with the yarn needle. Okay, I got all my husk things made, or my tops. I'm going to take the one that I made and left the long tail on. I'm going to load up my yarn needle on it, and I'm going to use this to sew them all on with. So you can pick which end you want to be the top. Where we started down here, this circle part, I'm going to sew the husks on that. So the end that we sewed up with our yarn needle is going to be the bottom of the cord. But you can do it either way, it doesn't really matter. And all I'm going to do is just take these and just sew them on one at a time with my needle. So I'm just going to kind of go through. Like that, and go back through like that. And I'm going to grab another one, kind of go like right behind it, go through that and through the top of the corn. Oops, sorry, I was off camera there. Not really any certain way to do this, just so it gets attached on. Like that. And then I'm going to grab another one, kind of just put it back here a little bit, and just sewing them all on the top here. Just spacing them out, or just randomly just sticking them somewhere. And if you want to go through each one a couple times too, go on the other side of it and go back up through, grab the corn and the stalk and pull it through that. And I'm going to grab another one, just put it wherever, just kind of back here somewhere. So, I mean, that's how I'm going to do it, so it's real easy. No certain way, just get them on there. Look and see where I might need another one. One like right here. Just work with it and kind of get them put on there neatly, I guess. Hard to go through all that yarn though. Had to get a really thick pointy needle to go through it. Okay. And that's kind of how you want to do each one. I'm kind of just going to go back through them all and give them all a good, make sure they're all on there good. Since I got some extra yarn on my hook, just kind of go around and go through all the tops of them. I don't want them coming off. Oh. Just pulled my yarn through. Anyways, you probably kind of get the idea. Just basically just get them on there so they don't come off all around the top of the corn. Okay, and once you get them all on there really tight, you can just clip your yarn off. I'll go ahead and clip mine. And then, just remember, if you used more strands than I did, yours will be a lot thicker. And that's it. Now you can do as many as you want, and do whatever you want to do with them. Decorate them however. What I'm going to do with mine is I'm just going to take a piece of yarn, kind of just tie the tops together. You know, kind of like they do at the store. Probably just hang them on my door or something. So that's kind of how I'm going to do mine. But you do whatever you want to do with yours. I'll just tie it with the yarn probably, and that'll be it. I don't know. I might get a piece of burlap or something and tie it with that, but something like that. Piece of twine or something, but that's all there is to it. So it's pretty easy, and you can, I think they're real cute, pretty fast, pretty easy to work up, and probably make some real good gifts for fall, you know, to give to people to decorate with. So I hope you enjoy my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and come check me out on Facebook, where if you make these or anything else, you can always post a picture. I'd really like to see it. And until next time, have a good day.